Hi there guys, and welcome to part 2 of this video that we're doing with Terry from the Football Terrace. If you haven't checked out part 1, go and do that over on Terry's channel at the Football Terrace. And don't forget to give it a subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you're joining us for the first time, hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey as well. So just to recap what we were discussing in part 1 of this video, we were talking about finishing up on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and how patient the board and fans are going to be with him and the sort of split opinions amongst fans on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as manager. We also touched on Paul Pogba and Marcus Rashford. Terry, you were touching there about Rashford, and obviously if he does find a small kind of run of games now to kind of win the fans back, then how long is it before they get back on his case? How important is it with a lot of games coming up in September, October, and then obviously we get that usual busy schedule leading up to Christmas anyway? Do you think we will see him maybe being rotated a little bit with the kind of run of games we have got coming up?
Yeah, I think so. I think with the League Cup starting, Europa League on the way, we're going to see Chongi, Greenwood, Gomez. They're going to get opportunities, and Rashford will be rotated in and out. In terms of him being the new Fellaini, the new Anderson, the new Tom Cleverley, the new Darren Gibson, in terms of the scapegoat of the team not winning, if he doesn't score for 10 games, but Man United win all those games, nobody's really going to care. And I think that's the big issue as well. We're always looking as human beings, there is always got to be someone to blame. When often, it's a team sport, and people forget that far too often. And I think that he'll be fine. But I think with more games coming up, it's a lot easier for United fans as well. It's a painful last 3 weeks when there's that long gap in between games and you don't quite get the result that you want or the performance. I think having some midweek games now, and a lot of them are going to be against very winnable teams, games that are very winnable, especially in the Europa League. So gives us a chance to bounce back if we don't quite get the results in the league. But I'm sure Rashford's going to be absolutely fine.
As you sort of mentioned there about games coming up, I want to focus straight away then on to Saturday's game against Leicester. Leicester have started the season quite well. Recapping, United start the season from the first 4 games, obviously beating Chelsea, losing to Palace and drawing the other 2 games with Wolves and Southampton. A little bit concerning in the manner that we drew to Southampton. I thought first half we weren't too bad, but second half, again, Lindelof came under a little bit of scrutiny for defensively not winning, the header which saw Southampton score. How important is it for United, knowing the next run of games we've got West Ham to come and then Arsenal at the end of the month, at home against Old Trafford? Do we need to get back to winning ways, and how important is that?
Winning's always, we know that. It's always important, of course. If we take away the results in the past 3 games, we're creating more chances on average per match than last season under Jose and under Ole. One of the best teams in the league for the amount of shots we're having on goal in games and chances created. We're also second best in the league in terms of opportunities that we concede against us. So teams creating openings. So we've made massive improvements. We're dominating large parts of the game. That's why I'm not panicking about these results. And I'm encouraging this team to keep playing how they are and just encouraging them to keep getting better and better. The only thing missing in the past 3 games has been enough of a clinical edge. Yeah. And there's been ample opportunity to make the lead 2-0, 3-0, or against Crystal Palace to have equalised that little bit sooner. So I think the message that Ole is going to give to this team is, of course, winning is important to go out there and do it, but it's around keep playing how you are. Individual mistakes and a couple of missed penalties are the only reason that Man United are not sitting on 7, 8, 9, 10 plus points. And I think that it's very easy to look at the end of last season's form and the results there, see the results at the beginning of this campaign and just amalgamate them into one and conflate them, when actually the performance levels in the past 3 games where we haven't been victorious are light years in front of what we saw, for instance, away at Everton towards the end of last season, at home to Cardiff on the last game of the season. So for me, it's a case of keep doing what you're doing. Leicester are going to come. They're going to try to win the game. They might play on the counter-attack at times. They've got wonderful players in their team. But Man United have got better players. We're a better attacking unit, and we will nullify them for large parts of this game. The only thing the only concern I have is what I've already stated, that clinical edge. It's putting those chances away when we get them. And if it falls to Martial 4 or 5 yards out, I'm very confident. But if it ends up at Lingard's feet, Rashford at the moment, we know he's a little bit off form and he's feeling that pressure. That's where I'm a little bit concerned. But in terms of the overall game, we're a much better team than Leicester, and I do think we'll be able to get the job done.
A lot of people felt that this season Ollie will kind of get United playing in a way where teams who visit Old Trafford will feel that kind of whole fortress. Before the game's even started, they're going to feel like they're going to be on the back foot. Has it surprised you at some of Ollie's team selection in terms of that number 10 role? We've seen Jesse Lingard doing it, and against Palace again, he came under a lot of criticism for his performance. Would you like to see potential of maybe even Mata playing in that number 10 role, that fake 9 role at home when we know teams might sit back, be hard to break down, and we need a bit of intricate, clever play, if you like, somebody who's brave enough to kind of try things to unlock a defence?
Yes, without a doubt. Like, I support Ollie wholeheartedly, but I'm not blinkered. He has made some mistakes, and I think playing Lingard for those first 3 games in the hole were mistakes. And we saw the goal that Dan James scored against Southampton. Of course, he gets all the plaudits, but one of the most beautiful parts of that goal was watching the off-the-ball run from Juan Mata, which stopped, I think it was Cedric. It put Cedric into no man's land. If he went for Dan James, if he closed down Dan James, it's an easy slip ball into Mata. If he goes to Mata, actually Dan James has got an even easier shot on goal. And that's what we need more of. And we know that Juan Mata is intelligent. And is he the best number 10 in the world or the best number 10 in the Premier League? No. But is he good enough to open teams up? Does he have more guile, more ability on the ball than Lingard? Absolutely. I think Lingard's got 4 goals and 2 assists in 12 months in the Premier League. And that all came in December 2018. He doesn't create... He's a workhorse. We know that. Presses hard. A lot of good runs, but he isn't that creative spark that Man United needs. So for me, Juan Mata would be my first choice at this point, with needing guarantees. If not, I would look at Gomez. Gomez is going to do no worse than Jesse Lingard, and we may as well give an academy player an opportunity. Because as I say, if he flops, we've not lost anything, because Jesse Lingard's flopping anyway.
Anyway, a good point. We saw Gomez in one of the pre-season games playing in that number 10 role, and he looked good. He was finding nice pockets of space, very intelligent on the ball, and showed some nice touches. Looking at the defence, a player who we thought might kick on this season and really form a formidable partnership at centre-back with Maguire was Victor Lindelof, who looked to be kind of grown into his own towards last season. We thought, we're really going to see a player. Bit of a stumbling start to this season. I'm not writing him off completely, but could it potentially be a chance for Tuanzebe to come in at some point, or do you think Ollie will remain kind of loyal, if you like, to Lindelof, giving him a bit more of an opportunity? International break might have helped, giving him a chance to kind of, reflect on his game a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think he will. I'm a big fan of Tuanzebe. I can't wait for him to get his opportunity. One of my biggest bugbears, and this is where it comes to me as a fan, I don't want to hypocrisize myself. Under LVG and Jose especially, I think there was never I think the most games on the bounce in the Premier League where we played the same 2 centre-backs together was 4 games maximum. The only way you're going to create a partnership that's long-lasting, that's going to make your team a fortress defensively, is by sticking with the same 2 centre-backs and really rotating your full-backs when it comes to Premier League games. And what that then means is Man United fans have got to have a strong stomach and actually do their job in this and support. It's in the name. And Lindelof has made 2 bad mistakes in games when it comes to winning balls in the air. But he wasn't making those mistakes last year. Even in his first season when he wasn't looking that great, it was normally his on-the-ball work that was poor. So it's a couple of mistakes, and I think if we get on his back now and take to social media and have a bit of a witch hunt and out him, what's going to come of that? You're going to make him even more nervous, and he might make more mistakes. For me, it's a case of Lindelof. We know he's a good defender. He's got the ability to become a very good defender. I want a partnership to form. I almost want, without there being any worry about being dropped, him and Maguire to be given at least 15 games together. Win, lose or draw, good performance, bad performance. Let's try and make a partnership. And for me, when I look at the great Man United teams I grew up with through the 90s and the noughties, there was always a solid core. Go back to 2018. You had the goalie. We knew who was playing at centre back with Rio Vidic. Midfield was Scholes and Carrick. A bit of a Hargreaves for a bit, and then through the middle, we knew Wayne Rooney was there in his pomp. You had that spine. United need to create that again. Now, it doesn't mean, because I know what some people are going to do, you're saying people are undroppable. No, being undroppable and creating a spine they're 2 separate things that shouldn't be conflated. But you need to give. United haven't created a team. We haven't had a team for 6 years now that we were like, okay, these are our core 5 or 6 players who play regularly. And when I look at what we've got now, De Gea in goal potentially, and then you've got Lindelof, Maguire, a midfielder of Pogba, who is that spine, Martial down the middle. They're very good players there to build a spine around. So I just want to see more of that done at the club.
Agreed. And like you said, I think you made a nice and a very valid point there that for the last 6 seasons, we've not had the core of a team where the manager knows that them 5 or 6 players almost handpick themselves before the team sheet goes in, and we've seen it chopped and changed.
Yeah, no, and just to add on that, we spoke on part 1 about this. We can't keep doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. We have to buck the trend. But the difficult thing is, like with any kind of change in life, is you go through these little painful periods and it's stick or twist time. And for me, I think we should stick, because twisting, it hasn't worked for Man United. Not once since Fergie left has twisting and changing direction again and again worked. So why not do something different? Have a bit, addressing Man United fans here, have a backbone. Be strong. Have some of that alpha still. Stop being so weak-minded and have that weak underbelly where oh no, Liverpool fans are going to laugh at me. So what? Who cares what they think? Support your team, support your manager, and grow a pair.
I echo what Terry's just said there. Look, Liverpool, they were in exile, especially in terms of domestic league titles for 30-odd years. Look, they've stuck with Klopp now for 4 years, and they're reaping the benefits of that kind of patience and that period that they've had under him building a team. One thing I don't get on social media these days, and as you mentioned, it's so easy for people to do it because the audience is there to retweet and whatever else, is picking like a 20-second clip of a game of a player doing something and they go in on it. And I'm thinking, the game is 90 minutes long.
Of course it is. And a couple of examples on that for Man United fans who like looking at it. One, Paul Scholes last year had a rant. And by the way, I love Paul Scholes. I'm not getting at him. But he had a rant about Pogba not tracking back when United were being counter-attacked in a game. And then, I don't know who did it. I can't remember the tweet, but in terms of the person who did it. But someone put a little compilation together of Man United goals being conceded when Paul Scholes was in the team via counter-attacks, and Paul Scholes was jogging back and he wasn't busting the gut to tackle anybody. You also get a lot of people saying, Rashford, his decision-making is so poor. He always makes the wrong pass or he doesn't run at the right time. It's a fair assessment to say he makes mistakes. But the only way you can confirm that he is less intelligent than his peers at Man United and peers and players in the same position in his age group and bracket of experience across European football is by studying their game as closely as you're looking at Rashford's. How many times per game is Sane and Sterling and Mbappe, as examples, Gnabry, how often are they making the wrong decisions? You don't know because you don't watch it. So to say that maybe he does lack intelligence, but is it any more so than the players that you want to replace him? I think that's my big issue with a lot of the analysis. I've watched one player and I think this is a problem, but there's no study, there's no education around what other players at that level are doing as well. And until we can chastise Pogba for not tracking back, but how many players that play in Pogba's position are running around? I don't remember Kevin De Bruyne doing much of that. Yeah. I'm not saying he should. This isn't an attack on KDB. This is saying that's not what he does in his role. So is Pogba actually lazy? Is Rashford actually unintelligent? Or is that just part and parcel of playing in the positions they do? Until you've done the studies, until you can present me with the facts, for me, you're just presenting a hypothesis that is based on groundless information.
Agreed, and I think that's a nice, clear message, and the way you've put it is absolutely right. So guys who are kind of finding these little clips of players and comparing United players to other players, do a bit of homework, because look, games and performances throughout the season, people have their peaks and their troughs, and confidence is a massive thing. I spoke about it as well. Like if you're a Salah or you're Mane playing in a Liverpool team that's brimming with confidence, things are going to be working for you. But we saw it with Rashford, Pogba, when Ollie first came in, when we had that fantastic run of games, everything was working for these players. I am pretty confident that United will get out of this kind of bad run of form and we will be able to put a few run of games together. Looking forward to this weekend, predictions, Terry, for the game on kind of performances and score as well.
It will be a dominant Man United performance. We'll have more of the ball, more chances. We'll have a good game in that respect. I think United will get the win. I do feel that they're going to bounce back. It's not going to be a big margin, but I'm going to go over 2-0 scoreline. They'll beat them. There'll be a bit of it will be that kind of, the pressure valve will be released a little bit on this team. And then we've got League Cup and Europa League starting. start to bed in some of these academy players and these really exciting young players, and it'd be nice to go into those games as well with the confidence having won at the weekend. So yeah, I'm confident that Ollie and the boys will get it done.
Brilliant. I also think United are going to get back to winning ways. I'm going to go for 2-1. I can see us getting the 3 points. I think Leicester will make it difficult for us. I think they'll make it trickier, as we've seen. Brendan Rodgers has got them playing quite well, and Vardy and Maddison. I think they'll obviously pose an attacking threat. But I do think Ollie would have really rallied round during this international break with the backroom staff to make sure we do everything to get these 3 points. So I'm also going for a United victory. Jump into the comment section, guys. Give us your predictions as well. Just want to say a big thank you to Terry and the Football Terrace for your time as well and your insight. Don't forget, you can catch part 1 on Football Terrace if you haven't seen that already. Hit subscribe on our channel, on Terry's channel as well if you haven't already. Jump into the comment section. And just before we do sign out, a big shout out to the sponsors of our channel, Duck and Cover. You can find the project range in the link of this description. And hopefully, as the season goes on, we'll be doing more stuff with you as well, Terry. So thank you very much, mate. Nice one, mate. Thank you. Thanks for checking out the latest video. Don't forget to click here for more of our great content and give us a subscribe.